Because you can't get into the kingdom having hatred, jealousy. You don't supposed to be jealous. How you jealous of somebody, your own people?
It's a blessing. Sister Robin repented, started walking upright before the Father called her home.
Man, listen, I'm just trying to endure and make it to the bosom too.
Me too, me too.
A Kendall Mathis film.
Hey, hey, should I yo hey, you say you tryna see the kingdom, I'm like me too. Bring out your Bible, time to study and then regroup. Hey, you say you're enduring to the end and I'm like me too. Ain't no time for flocking, ain't no stopping, save a soul, let's get it pop. You say you're trying to see the kingdom, I'm like me too. Bring out your Bible, time to study and then regroup. Hey, you say you're enduring to the end and I'm like me too. Ain't no time for flocking, ain't no stopping, save a soul, let's get it pop. Hey, I've been in this truth for years, I turned 22. And I ain't stopping for nobody, homie, I'm just getting started. I ain't doing this for profit, I'm just trying to save a soul. No vainglory, I'm trying to please my Abba, get through them doors. I failed, then I rose, no Derek, I feel hysterical. You went through what I went through, then you would say it's a miracle. I ain't changed up with darker giving, and I ain't give up. I'm married to this truth, and no, I ain't getting a prenup. People say Shadiah or change, but I remain the same. Enduring through the pain, when it's sunny, you gotta expect the rain. Through the cloudy days, there is shade, so no, don't be arrayed. You better fix your face and forgive, don't wanna be a say you trying to see the kingdom, I'm like me too. Bring out your Bible, time to study and then regroup. Hey, you say you're enduring to the end, and I'm like me too. Ain't no time for flocking, ain't no stopping, save a soul, let's get it pop. You say you're trying to see the kingdom, I'm like me too. Bring out your Bible, time to study and then regroup. Hey, you say you're enduring to the end, and I'm like me too. Ain't no time for flocking, ain't no stopping, save a soul, let's get it pop. Save a soul, let's get it poppin', what you wait for? 144 need to be saved, what you debate for? You say you working for the kingdom, but can't bring a brick. You tryna wait and divide a conquer and hit a lick. You want your own camp, wanna be the best, but them scriptures tell us relearn if we wanna be teachers, right? But you tryna fight, cultivate a strife in the body and wanna take flight. Hide your hand in thorns, but we see it, boy, this ain't midnight. Repent now, you need to sit down before I higher pitch you down. Blow the trumpet, hear the sound, why he able to be found? You can't be to and fro, Akishaya ain't no rebound. Shining through the darkness, through your Shia, yeah, we see now. Give it up, you need to split it up, and homie, choose a side. Life or death, live or die, haze or eternal life. I'm trying to save your soul when I see you. Matthew 18 tell us what to do, so brother, time to be renewed. You say you trying to see the kingdom, I'm like me too. Bring out your Bible, time to study and then regroup. Hey, you say you're enduring to the end, and I'm like me too. Ain't no time for flocking, ain't no stopping, save a soul, let's get it pop. You say you're trying to see the kingdom, I'm like me too. Bring out your Bible, time to study and then regroup. Hey, you say you're enduring to the end, and I'm like me too. Ain't no time for flocking, ain't no stopping, save a soul, let's get it poppin'.
Hey y'all, what's good? What's going on? This is Lorvins. I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia on July 30th. I'll be performing at the Fringed Up Family Fest. Man, it's going down. This is one of the biggest events this year. So y'all make sure y'all come check it out. It's going to be some bounce house, vendors. Make sure y'all come and support your own. Make sure you buy from your own. Man, this is about to be one of the biggest event this year. So y'all make sure y'all get y'all tickets. Y'all make sure y'all come out and show out. It's a family event. So come family friendly. You know what I mean? So one love.
They think I'm out my mind, these folks, they think I'm out my mind. The way I walk this walk, they think I'm out my mind. The way I talk this talk, they think I'm out my mind. The way I keep these laws, they say I'm out my mind. Out my mind. Out my mind. The way I walk this walk, they think I'm out my mind. Out my mind. Out my mind. The way I talk this talk, they think I'm out my mind. The judge think I'm out my mind, cause I ain't with no shot. This girl, she think I'm out my mind, cause I ain't shoot my shot. They really think I'm out my mind, the way I keep Shabbat. The ones that think that I lost my mind, the ones that's really lost. They think I'm blind, no, I ain't got the time, no. Walk a narrow line, bro, I'm just trying to shine, glow. They see my CC's dripping and they think I'm out my mind. I'm reading all these scripts and took me out my mind. Took that Ruach HaKodesh to keep me so aligned. I will not conform, so I they think I'm out my mind. The way I walk this walk, they think I'm out my mind. The way I talk this talk, they think I'm out my mind. The way I keep these laws, they say I'm out my mind. Let's go. Rejection, out my mind. Depression, out my mind. Addiction, out my mind. Unforgiveness, out my mind. Pride, out my mind. Perversion, out my mind. Envy, out my mind. And murder, out my mind.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. We would like to welcome you to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. I am your host, Yeshua Judah. Next to my co-host, my brother, Mr. Ayo Ben Yahoo. How's it going, brother?
Man, it's going good, man. Blessed and highly favored in the Most High. All praises. Shalom to everybody, man. Good to be here. Been a great week. Couldn't wait for this show. You know what?
Right.
They had yesterday. We're gonna touch on, but hey, when the heathens celebrate their day, it's just another day for us to sit back and reflect on how good the Most High has been to us, man. How good Mashiach has been to us by laying his life down. How good he was leaving the set apart Ruach. So we can discern in these times what to do and what not to do, how to love the Most High, how to sacrifice, and how to worship the Most High. So, man, to be alive amongst the land of the living, to be here with my brother, share your shoe, Judah, and the Truth Be Told Flex podcast family, I'm blessed, bro. How are you, man? How are you, bro?
I'm blessed as well, man, and I think you summed it all up in a nutshell. Looking around, I was about to call the deacons up here, say we're gonna have to pull out the offering because my brother just done gave us a sermon, but say everything was on point. That's real talk, because I tell people all the time, man, you will never hear me complain as long as I'm alive. You dig what I'm saying, man? You ask me how I'm doing, brother, I'm blessed. I don't care what's happening, I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? And so all praises for that, man, and all praises for the Most High. You said something, and I'm gonna have to piggyback on it, man. This is another thing. The Most High do not treat us accordingly to how we deserve, man. So when we realize that we ain't nothing, when we realize for real that we are filthy, and that He continue to show us favor, you know, what can we complain about, Ayo?
Right, that's it, man.
What can we complain about?
Nothing.
4th of July was yesterday, man, that atrocity. 4th of July. One of our subscribers sent me, and I was actually going to get it recorded for the show today, sent me Jill Scott at the Essence Festival and her rendition of the national anthem.
Yeah.
And actually, the video that our subscriber sent to me, I was questioning even if it was real because how it looked, but I got to Googling, and yes, it was very real. It was very authentic. And so I want to give Jill Scott a shout out and a round of applause for even having the courage to sing something like that. If you have not seen it, just type in Jill Scott Essence Fest 2023 National Anthem. You will hear how she sung that thing. I was talking to my wife just yesterday, and real quick, I do want to hear your opinion on it. Even if you're not Hebrew, even if you're not Islam, but you black in this country, in today's time, in 2023, where information is so easy to obtain.
Right.
Why are you black and still celebrating the 4th of July?
Man, you know, we talk about all the time here, coming into the truth. Some of the things, you know, me and my family talk about this all the time. Some of the things that a lot of us growing up in the traumas of being in here in America and then waking up to the truth and to the marvelous light of the Most High. You think about those things that was hard to give up. the dietary laws. Oh, we ate, shrimp and lobster and all the abominable things that the Most High is like, don't eat. But then when we woke up to the truth, you're like, oh, we didn't realize. You talk about growing your beards and your hair and understanding what the scriptures mean about the Shabbat and those things. You gotta die the first death of dying to the world, and then now you're in the light. Now you gotta live this lifestyle of Torah, keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. I will say, my goatee was like my signature in the secular music business. Everybody knew I had the mustache and the goatee connect. So shrimp, lobster, all that stuff was kind of easy for me to give up. Pork, I was like, cool, that's cool. My beard was the hardest. I was like, man, I gotta grow a beard. It's gonna be itching. Da da da, boom, boom, boom. Getting to the
really?
Oh, bro, this is the longest, of course, now since 2017, since I woke up. This is the longest I've ever had a beard. I used to keep a beard for one haircut. It be short. I cut it off. Everybody, you could ask anybody that knew me back in Charlotte and Carolina. Bro didn't keep a beard more than 2 weeks. His hair grow back the slightest. He cut it off. So that was one of the toughest things that I had to get adjusted to. Everything else is kind of cool, especially the 4th of July. Bro, I gave that when I thought about, and also something was hard to give up was, Saturdays watching, football and going to Shabbat to assembly. After a while, I got adjusted. But bro, that 4th of July, man, that thing was so easy. Once I understood it and did my own research, because I would hear from everybody, 1776, we were still in slavery, this and that. I thought about it, bro. That was one of the easiest things I died to. I mean, quick. It was like the Stavro thing. I didn't even think about it no more. And then we have to think, how easy was that opposed to how many cookouts we've been to over the years? How many gallons of beer or strong drink we probably drunk over that weekend? How much, different things we did, just wilding out because we thought we were free.
Right.
When I thought about that, I was like, man, come on, man. So yeah. In my opinion, I just wanted to say that piece because it really, this time of year, every year, man, I just think about, I was like, it was for me, it was kind of easy. I'm sure for a lot of folks, it was kind of hard. But to answer that question, how can you be, it don't matter. If you are melanated, how can you still be putting something on the grill, throwing down a beer on that day?
On 4th of July. I mean, and that's my question. Like, and I get everything that you was saying. About the. I was a huge pork eater. Never been a big seafood eater. But I love me some daggum pork chops.
Yes, sir.
I ate pig feet. I ate pig ears.
Pork rinds.
I was that dude, right? And it even went against the religion that I was a part of, and I didn't care,
Right.
Because
so you ain't
didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tear this pig feet up,
What?
But with the information that we have that is before us, that's what I'm asking. You can still be a Christian and a Jesus lover with the information. And let's negate the information that's before us. Just look at how we're living today. I heard somebody make a statement on TV yesterday that the cost of freedom is not free. What freedom? What freedom are you referring to? What freedom are you referring to? You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy to me how we jump on the ship and celebrate all of these non-melanated folks' holidays when they continue to treat us in the fashion that they treat us, and we continue to ask them, like one of the stories that we're going to have tonight with affirmative action. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you for real gonna tell me happy 4th of July? Dude asked me, and I can't repeat how I answered them, right? I'm not going to do that. But dude asked me Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, we went to work. When we went to work Monday, no, we was off Tuesday. The day is Wednesday. Monday, you got any plans for the 4th of July? You know, in the PG way of saying, I was like, dude, I don't celebrate that, right?
Right.
And he just looked at me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, dude, why you celebrate it? You know what I'm saying? Like for real, why do you celebrate it, man? Like, and we be serious about it, man. And real quick, I was talking to my daughter about this, and I was like, you got people who say, this is what they say, I don't celebrate 4th of July, but I like popping the fireworks. I like watching the fireworks, not understanding that you still celebrating it.
Right.
You still participate.
Right. You still
because it's commerce. Like I told my wife, as a whole, this country don't care if we celebrate it or not. What they care about if you spend your money with them. Like my daughter work at the mall, right? And I was talking to her about this. She said, well, how is that celebrating it if this is the only time of the year where they sell fireworks? I said, this is the only time of the year they do what? She said they sell fireworks. I said, what do they do? She said they sell fireworks. I said, now you about to go to work and inside of that mall they having what kind of sales? 4th of July sales. I said, now it's commerce, baby. I said in the gist of it, they don't care if you celebrate it or not.
Right.
If you participate by spending your money.
That's it.
Because it's commerce. All right?
So that's all they care about, man. Spending that
and you are siding with the spirits of this nation, man. We could talk on the 4th of July forever. Man. We could talk on it forever. Yeah. But that's not what we're here for. But I did want to make note to Jill Scott, the lady that's from Philly. You know what I'm saying? And I've been waiting for somebody right wing to get up and say something about it, but I haven't heard anything.
It's coming. Candace Owens, somebody gonna Jason
chick there,
Kirkpatrick. Bro. Yeah, somebody gonna say, somebody got something slick to say.
I gotta say this too. I'm officially old, like yo.
Why you say that?
Dude, I told you today that I just got to the party of Twitter. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. I seen you on there. Man, that's different.
I have no idea what I'm doing. But I've noticed that I could get some really great news off of there.
Oh, man.
I really don't even know what I'm doing on Facebook anymore because I disappeared and I was gone for so long, and Facebook is even foreign to me now. It done changed on me. Yeah. And so I'm thinking that we probably going to have to get an Instagram for the show as well. And so I'm going to be working on that for the show. But man, I'm officially old because none of these social media sites mean nothing to me.
Right.
Only getting them for the sake of the show. But with that being said, man, let's get right to it, man.
Yeah.
Mahel Merzouk, and I'm assuming that I'm pronouncing his name right. He is a 17-year-old unarmed teen that was killed in what seemed to be a routine traffic stop in France. I'm going to run this video clip, and we're going to talk about this before we get to our critical race theory, man.
Yeah.
Where is it at? There we go.
Ils ont tiré, wesh. Et c'est fini pour lui. Je sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il a fait, mais c'est fini.
Routine traffic stop. Now, if you remember in San Antonio a few months back, and that might have been last year too, time go by so fast. There was a cop who shot an unarmed boy at a McDonald's that was sitting there eating his burger. And as soon as I saw this here, that was the first thing I thought about because it was very similar to that. The police was standing at the door, barking orders. And the kid drove off, and as he drove off, the police shot inside the car. I want to give France a shout out as well because This guy here that pulled the trigger, he was immediately taken off duty without pay,
Without pay, right?
and he was arrested.
Yep.
And it was
Yep.
two things that jumped out at me. The first is that no matter where we are as Israel, we are subject to police brutality. We're subject to police brutality, no matter where we at.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out if the kid was black or not, and we found his roots.
Yep.
He is black.
Yep.
Now he may be a what you would call a mixed breed, but he would still fall in that line of minority. What you think about that, man? No matter where we are subject to police brutality, man. This is over here in France.
I hear a lot of people that travel abroad, a lot of my sisters and brothers that's not in the truth that I still dialogue and speak with, and they always rave about how so much better we treated abroad and in London and all England, man, they treat us with dignity and respect. And I'm like, but those places are still colonized though. Like if something go down involving us, it's the same as over here.
Right.
It may not happen as often, or does it happen as often or even more, and you just don't hear about it because it's abroad. What goes down in Sweden, France, London, all of England, Ireland? You heard what happened in the Ukraine when some of those Nigerian students and some of us was trying to get up out of there on the train. They were denying us.
They were
But
left.
if you, right, we were left. So to learn that this young man, like if you look at him, I know a lot of brothers is what they call confusion of face Israelite. He looks, his skin color, he looks a certain way. But when you look at his nose, his cheekbones, his features, and then you learn that his parents are from Morocco, then you say, okay, he one of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's from Morocco in Africa. He's Moroccan in North Africa. So when I heard about this, you know, my heart goes out to his family. Now, like you said, shouts out to France. They was like, oh, we ain't playing no games. They immediately arrested him, suspended him without pay, charged him with murder. So we'll see how this plays out. Traffic stop, even if you smell alcohol, marijuana, and they drive off, shoot the tire. You know, a teenager
Don't
like
shoot
that.
it all.
Maybe,
No, I don't even go with that.
Saying.
Don't
That's
shoot it all.
If the worst comes, if push comes to shove, if you have to pull it, shoot the tire.
Right.
Don't do that. But like you said,
Right.
if you have to, shoot the tire. Why you gotta shoot in the car?
Right.
And then police are trained to not miss.
Right.
So you hit your target. That's the intention. They take an oath when they pull the trigger. It ain't for de-escalation. It's to take you up out of here. And that's what happened.
That's right. And I asked the police that question one time because it wasn't making sense to me. I was like, why is it that, you know, the trigger is pulled so many times when shooting occurs in these situations? And his reply was that we are trained to kill the target.
That's it.
We're not trained to, you know, to hurt anything. Right. Yeah, the goal is to kill the target, kill the threat.
Right.
And to me, that, you know what I'm saying, I don't agree with that training whatsoever. But hey, you know what I'm saying, that is the training. But you are absolutely right. You know, a lot of the times, and I've heard it too, that we're treated so better abroad, and I believe that we are. Right. Understand what I said. I believe that we are. We are Negroes that's from America that's going to another land. And so when they see us, we are like, you know, almost like a royalty. You know, they Americans. You know what I'm saying? And so we are, but we talking about those that live there like we live here. You see what I'm saying? We know how we're treated here in our land. So those who live here and those that live there I'm sure that they face the same type of racism that
Absolutely.
we be facing when we are here on a daily basis. No, the second thing, well, I said two, but I'm saying this. It's maybe three because the second thing, there's another thing that stick out at me at this is that France Police Department has to be just as bad as the American Police Department. And the reason why I say that is because of the number of riots that they have over their body because of this.
Man.
People don't riot over one incident.
Right. This has to be a build-up.
That's something that has been brewing for a long time.
Yep.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think I'm.
That's something that's been brewing for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, these people, yeah, that's a climax.
Yep. It's gonna climax. Oh, I think I lost it. Did we lose you? Uh-oh. Think we lost my brother.
Hello?
There you
Can you hear me out?
I can hear you. I think we're losing you. Yep. I can hear you a little bit.
Can you hear me out?
You going in and out. I'm losing you.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Right. There you go. I hear you say okay. Yeah, I think I lost you out. You gone. I think you gone. We're gonna give him a chance to get back in and get out and get back in. But yeah, so that French situation is y'all, we have to keep our eye on this thing. It's getting a little crazy over there. So like she was saying, the riots as you've seen on the video clip,
Go ahead.
the riots that they having, this just didn't happen, right? I mean, it's got, and we don't want to see any violence and anybody injured. You know, we don't want to see anybody, you know, any lives lost but you know, like she was saying, it's just this build up, and you don't get people injured, you don't get loss of life, you don't get police hurt out of nowhere. This has been a build up. This is something that's been brewing and bubbling for a little minute, right? So you have to ask yourself, you know, like she was saying, is there any difference from America and France, you know, Great Britain, you know, England? Is there any difference from what is over here? Because America is a little sister of Great Britain. You know, the French, you know, they say they are different from the Irish and the British. You know, there are in Americans, they all say that they're different. But ask yourself, do you see the same characteristics? You see the same characteristics. So yeah, you know, it's something to keep your eye on. This young man has lost his life. I don't even think he was 20, 21, 22. I know he was very young, just starting to drive, a young man out here in this world. So yeah, man, we just, you know, keep the family in your prayer. You know, France, they're going through it. You know, they are uprising over there. They got crazy riots and crazy, you know, damage to property. These people have had enough. Is it yet to come here? What's brewing? What's bubbling? So let's, you know, ask yourself that question, y'all. Continue to keep France in your prayer. Let's go ahead and get into this beyond critical race theory, man. So as we were talking before, we, you know, the nation celebrated the 4th of July. And we were talking about how, you know, being in the truth, how, you know, how it is when you have to come and be set apart from that stuff, right? So I want to share something with you guys that you know, we were talking about on the 4th of July. And it's amazing how a lot of times, things can get misconstrued. And let me see if I can get it. No, that ain't what I want. See if I can get it here. Let me see. I thought I had it. Oh, thought I had it. But anyway, things get misconstrued. I think we got Sherry back now. You back, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
awesome. So what we're going to talk about is we were talking about the 4th of July, and for the Beyond Critical Race Theory today, we got Mr. Frederick Douglass. Everybody knows Mr. Frederick Douglass, one of the great orators, one of the great liberators of our time. He wrote a speech on July 4th, 1852 in Rochester, New York. But I was reminded of that the other day by a post on Facebook. Dr. Kenneth Howard, shouts out to him and the great assemblies all across the world, man. He made a interesting point in his post about the 4th of July and about Frederick Douglass's speech. So before we read Frederick Douglass's speech, I'm going to read you what he posted. I want you to think about this and think about what we was talking about earlier, right? So on this day, this week is going to be on the 4th of July, 1852 in Rochester, New York, Frederick Douglass speech. But let's get Dr. Kenneth Howard's commentary on it first. All right, Dr. Kenneth Howard posted on July 4th. He says, Frederick Douglass' speech concerning the 4th of July is one of my favorite speeches of all time. Independence Day wasn't about food, picnics, and family gatherings in 1776. Our oppressors were fighting against taxation and tyranny, trying to gain independence so they, not my ancestors in parentheses, can be free. When this country was fighting for freedom, my ancestors were not free. While this country rejoices over how their ancestors fought to be free from tyranny during this period, I have to look at how bound minds were, how they were bound. While they fought for their freedom, they took away the freedom of others, Africans, Native Americans. So while we rejoice with this country in regards to their freedom, let's also mourn over my ancestors in which freedom was taken. Now listen to this. This is what we were talking about earlier. He said, people will tell this story from their vantage point. That's key. Everyone will tell the truth from their own perspectives. When you write the book you read, your truth is twisted. You can't walk in authentic truth until you are willing to tell the story from another's perspective, i.e., Star Spangled Banner, i.e., what Jill Scott sung. You see what I'm saying? That's two totally different perspectives. And he says, get this. Until the story of the hunt is told by the lion, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. That's profound. Right. That's profound. Now, let me read this real quick. Frederick Douglass, his speech, 4th of July, 1852 in Rochester, New York. He says, what to the American slave is your 4th of July? He says, I answer, a day that reveals to him, more than all the other days in the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty and unholy license, your national greatness, swelling vanity, your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence, your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery, your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity are to him where bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy a thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. He said that, man. That was his speech. I read that. I was like, wow, because I had forgot about that. And once again, family, everybody that's listening on the Psychic TV, everybody that will see this on YouTube, they don't teach this in schools.
They would never.
I learned about this in 2019, and then I forgot about it. And then when I seen Dr. Kenneth Howard's post, I was like, oh, perfect. It's like, wow. But you see what he called them. He called them a nation of savages. Cover up crimes. Whew, no wonder they had it out for him.
That's right.
So what you think about that? Sure, man.
Man, that right there is everything. And the reason why I say that is because the intro of your critical race theory, beyond critical race theory, was on point. And I'm glad that I got back in to hear it. We forget that those whom we call founding fathers of this place were actually slaves to Britain.
Right.
We forget that.
Right.
They were for real fighting for their independence.
There you go.
That's what the 4th of July is. It is their independence.
Right.
We so brainwashed to the point that we take on everything. I see, we must like abuse. You got people that's pain freaks, right? You have marriages that have ended in divorce for lesser. You have children who don't talk to their parents for lesser. But yet, for some strange reason, we keep trying to find ways on how to love America.
Yeah, man.
Every time I hear Negroes say that this is a great country, it does something to me because, like I say, you don't have to be a Hebrew. You don't have to be a Nation of Islam. You could be a Christian. Your common sense should let you know that we are treated differently here.
That's it.
So much differently that look how fast the LGBTQ plus folks getting rights. We've been fighting for rights for how long now?
Since before me and you was born.
As soon as that COVID stuff came out and they talked about Asian hate, they was putting laws in to protect the Asians. We've been asking for protection for how long now?
Right. Exactly.
And every time we try to get something that belongs to us, they figure out a way how to tear it down. But yet you're going to go buy you a red, white, and blue short suit and go barbecue and eat you some hot dogs on the 4th of July. You the worst type of Negro. Hand clap to Frederick Douglass for calling the ace a ace and a spade, a nation of savages. Nation of savages, because that's what they
Nation
are.
of savages. And he was telling y'all, and he was telling us in 1852.
They ain't changed.
That was 100, I wrote it down, 171 years ago.
That's right.
171.
And they ain't changed a bit.
And it ain't changed a bit.
They ain't changed a bit.
So yeah, we gotta drop bombs on him one more time.
So
yeah, man, that I seen that on Facebook. I seen his post and I went and Googled his speech when he had his speech on there. I was like, wow. I was like, that is right. And I was looking at that speech, like I said, in 2019. Everybody was in the house from the pandemic. So I was scrolling up and I typed in Frederick Douglass, started looking. I was like, oh, he did a speech. And I read it. And then, you go down the rabbit hole. You start researching 3 or 4 things later. And I forgot, it left me.
Right.
And I was glad the Most High, I was able to see that post. And I was like, oh, man, this is a gem. And when I read it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, oh, yeah, we got to talk about this. So,
yeah.
So
that was excellent. That was excellent and on point, man, because it really do take courage to stand up, even then, more so then than it does now, to stand up against the beast.
That's it.
And it's all sorcery too, man. It got to be sorcery.
Yeah, man. Because like you said, it's somehow we find a way. We'll find a way. We'll find a way to celebrate and make it. Oh, it's all good. And like you said, I think that trauma of that pain is so deep that we don't know how, as a nation as a whole, to break away from it. We'll rather have it
We can't break the curses on it. We can't, because I ran across a speech from Dr. Umar Johnson, and he was saying, I bet not see not one Negro with red and white on. I bet not see not one cookout. I bet not see this and I bet not see that. I said, we do this same speech every year. And every year we have more Negroes than we did the year previous celebrating the 4th. I said, why is that? And here's the answer. Because it's not that we're not listening, because I do believe a number of us are leaving.
Absolutely.
But this is what's happening. You got so many parents that's still teaching their kids to celebrate this year.
Right.
So therefore the cycle can't be broke.
Right.
You got parents taking their kids to go see the fireworks and the feel all lovey-dovey for the country. And you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now those kids, what they gonna do? They gonna teach their kids. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when you look at it in hindsight, not only are we as so-called blacks a minority, we as those who are breaking the matrix, because I think it's gonna be I can't even say that I've broken the matrix. We're breaking the matrix.
It's still in the process.
It's still a process. And for those of us who is breaking the matrix, we are for real a minority. It's very few of us.
Right.
And then look at the age we were. Then we teaching our kids who was probably teenagers at that time. So now they got to try to learn how to break it as well. So when they do have families, they could teach their kids from the very beginning. That's when the cycle is going to be broken.
Yeah. All praises. That's when it's going to be broken.
That's when the cycle is going. So we got a whole group of young generation of us that's going to be going to these schools that's not going to stand up for the flag. That's not going to be celebrating Christmas. That's not going to want to hear about white Jesus. That's not going to participate in the LGBTQ plus and whatever else is going to be then. Why? Because we taught our kids righteousness from the very start.
That's it. That's it.
That's how the curses are going to be broken.
Man, what a beautiful time that will be.
What a beautiful time that will be. Indeed. I'm going to try it again from my laptop. I'm going to be back in with my laptop after the song break. If it don't work, I'll come back to the phone. And but we going to get through it, though. And I'm in good spirits, too.
Yep. We in
good spirits. I ain't tripping.
don't trip out.
I ain't tripping.
The Most High's grand.
Ain't he, though?
All the time.
All the time. Let's get that song break out.
Yeah.
Time it is. Back like I never left. Shout out to Drewski. Drewski, that is. Yeah. Let's go. Hey yo, they counted me out. I started counting up. I'm no pretender. 12 tribe representative from some of the winter. Let me say that back again, I'm the sum of the winners. Got the game locked like your favorite defenders. Yeah, my run looking rather great. Why you think he sent me to the game? Just to gather grapes. Gotta show him how to level up and how to levitate. I'm heavy in the ring, it's not fair for them featherweights. Been the truth before arrow, now watch me demonstrate. No more demons, got me rocking on my mama dinner plates. Now I'm more concerned with how to stay up out of sinner's way. So when I see the judge, he gon' sentence me the friendly way. Tell me well done, my good and faithful son. The only words I wanna hear when the kingdom comes. Put me in a mansion, I don't ever wanna see the slums. Nah, I eat my father's bread, heathens, you can keep the crumbs.
And let's unite the like-minded of us. Whether we are Christians or Muslims, or nationalists or agnostics or socialists. If we are like-minded on reparations and on justice for our people, we are brothers indeed. But a black face ain't gonna make you no brother today. Go ahead. We tired of these black face, white-hearted. Go ahead. Say the masquerading as though you love your people.
This record feeling like New Orleans back in 97. Juvie had the soldier rag, I dreamed about the 9/11. Still getting bread, only difference is I dropped 11. Still love the Lord, only difference is I dropped the Reverend. Now I'm meaner than I ever been. Washed with the word, now I'm cleaner than I ever been. Demons still knocking at my door, I can't let them in. Flesh like LeBron with the Lakers, it can't get a win. I'm just trying to give you the picture, you gotta fill it in. Hero A the chef, he can never let the villain win. I just spit diamonds and rubies, man, I can pin a gem. The writing on the wall above them all, high pin the ceiling. He who holds don't need a physician. For my way to the top, I don't need permission. That's why I keep dropping on them like the motor slipping. That's why they put me with the greats. We all rapping, but they know I'm different.
Yeah, that was Roway the Chef with the countdown. My goodness. Boy, that just bringing that heat. I think we got my brother back. Did we got you back, bro? Bro, still froze. There you go. Well, once again, that was Roway the Chef with the countdown. He will be at the Fringed Up Family Fest, July 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. Roway the Chef. You just heard it, the countdown. He will be there in the building July 30th for the Fringed Up Family Fest F3 event, Atlanta, Georgia, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. We need vendors. 3mgmusic.com. Go sign up today. Go get your tickets now. There you go. He back. There you go.
What's happening, Mark?
What's
yeah,
up?
it ain't doing nothing. I don't know what's going on. I ain't gonna trip. I'm not gonna spend the energy in being mad. You know,
right.
I'm gonna keep these headphones on for sure.
Yeah,
dummy. You know what I'm saying? They make it feel like that I'm. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And Charleston White say yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, great. Beyond critical race theory. I want to say this real quick. I want to back up to the beginning of the show, man. With what happened in France, and then we're gonna go to that first topic. You can keep that what you got up there, because that's what we're gonna get to. But I do want to get this out, man. This is coming out of an article. The article, these are the words of that, man. I can't find the name of the article. I thought I read it. Oh, from CNN. Early Wednesday morning, I think I sent this to you. I did a fundraiser for the police officer.
Yeah.
And they had raised a final total of more than 1.6 million pounds, which is equivalent to $1.7 million. And then they also had a fundraiser for Nahil, the boy that was shot. And it had only topped 400,000 pounds, which is equivalent to $450,000. And it says more than 85,000 people had donated to support the police officer, while over just 21 had donated to support Nahil. All of these are signs as to what the Most High said about us as a nation that is not desired. All right? And the love that these people, and this also goes to show you how people gravitate to oppression as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
People love oppression. When I looked at the comments of that video that I seen, man, you'll be surprised at how many people say that, you know, if he had to just complied, he wouldn't have got shot. If he hadn't drove off, he wouldn't have got shot. Where's the common sense here? The kid was unarmed.
It was unarmed.
He was, but yet you got 85,000 people that went out and supported the police officer, and only 21 that supported the kid that got shot. And this police officer has raised over $1 million. Make it make sense.
So that totally negates, guys. That totally negates the suspension without pay.
Right.
He is now rich.
Right.
For
Right.
however long he gonna be out walking.
Right.
I'm sure he gonna get him a lawyer. I'm sure he gonna get more money raised. Like, this is what I'm saying, and this is what Frederick Douglass was saying. And we're about to go into this other article, and you're going to see the landscape of this thing, what oppression looks like. You got two different lenses, the same thing happening, but two different scopes. He should have complied to, y'all wrong for this.
Right.
But look, two different perspectives, but looking at the same thing.
Exactly.
That is, and like we always say, you click, I'll go to YouTube, something like that, or any video. I'll click on the video, look for about 30 seconds, and then I'll stop it.
And go to the comments.
Go to the comments. That's where the war is. That's how you see in a microscope and
how people feel about stuff.
How people feel about stuff.
That's right.
And like you say, just coming out the comment, talking bad. Now this man is gone. This little young teenager is gone.
Right.
And people talking like he a dog.
Right.
And uplifting the police officer.
Right. Exactly.
And you just stop it and scratch your head. Be like,
right.
Am I watching the same thing?
Exactly.
He should have complied.
Exactly. Go to show you, man, that people love, and they have absolutely no idea, because see, and this is the thing, we got to understand that America is nothing more than an arm of that part of Europe.
That's what I mentioned that earlier. The little sister.
Exactly. You see, and right. so the spirit that's there is the exact same spirit that is over here. That's why you have the similitude of behavior when it comes to this type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And so they look at the law. How can you have that much regard for the police that killed a baby?
Baby, man was 17. Well, I can't. 17 or something like that.
Whether he was black Israelite or not,
he still.
You see, the regard for life. And so like Job said, that negate the suspension without pay. So we don't want to spend too much time on that. I just wanted to bring that out because it needed to be, brought to the forefront, man. The mind state of people, not only when it comes to us, but even when it comes to oppression and when it comes to our enemy as well. You supporting the hand that's gonna stab you, and not even in the back. They're gonna look you in your eye and stab you.
They're gonna be proud of it too.
And proud of it.
That's crazy.
And proud of it.
Man.
What we got, man? Affirmative action, the end of it. What does this mean?
And affirmative action, man, has ended. The Supreme Court has ended it. They voted in a 6-3 vote, has ended it. And one of the Supreme Court justices that had a big sway in it was Clarence Thomas.
Of course, Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus. And we're going to talk about this in this article.
Uncle Ruckus.
Society News, societynews.com. If y'all want to go look that up. This came out on June 29th, a few days ago. It said the Supreme Court has killed affirmative action. It says, I seen this headline. Out of all the headlines I've seen about affirmative action, this caught my eye because I wanted to do this, and I'm gonna preface this stuff is y'all about to see where they're going with this. There's a lot of different ways we can all feel and a lot of different opinions and takes, but listen to this headline. The Supreme Court has killed affirmative action. Mediocre whites can rest easier. I said, boy, good gracious. I said, this article gonna be awesome. And it is. We're gonna get into it, but you made a great point earlier. I believe this striking down affirmative action, you made a great point. You said about how at our age, we were taught, we woke up at a certain age and our young ones our children was teenagers. But when they get older and we old and great, their kids, y'all willing, we still living, they'll have grandparents and parents in this truth. So from a baby, they'll learn this thing, and that's when the curses are broken. But I think the Most High is allowing this to open the pathway to that, because you said something. You said what they're going to do when we no longer sing the Star Spangled Banner. What are they going to do when we no longer will Pledge of Allegiance? What are they going to do when we no longer say our kids are going to be teenagers and they say, oh, our grandkids are going to be like, no,
we're not
saying Pledge of Allegiance. And it's all across the world.
Because everybody don't have the money and the means to be able to send kids to private school or to homeschool. So we talking about kids that's going to be in the public school setting that's going to straight out buck the system. My grandkids better buck it. That gummit. You understand what I'm saying? I want to get called to the office daily.
Right. Your kid went stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good. Come on, let's go.
And
right. And you call me again. Well, this is the third time this week, Mr. Peter.
Right. By that time, I'm gonna be retired. Why are you bothering me?
Right.
Yes. I'm gonna be wearing suspenders by that time, right? Why are you bothering me? You called me down here because my grandkid did. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm. Yes.
Yeah. And this right here, you've been reading my article because that's exactly what it said. It talks about that. Let's get into it. So Eli Mistel, he is a young African-American or Israelite guy, and that got a degree, got degrees. He's had it, but he's not the type that's celebrating this as a victory. Oh, now that I've got mine, take affirmative action away. So listen to what his take on this. He says, it's been a long goodbye. The Supreme Court declared race consciousness in college admissions, also known as affirmative action, unconstitutional today. This is on June 29th. He said the vote was predictable, 6-3, with all the justices appointed by Republican presidents standing together to revoke the policy. He said the majority opinion was written by Chief Justice John Roberts himself, who ruled that affirmative action violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was, of course, written explicitly to revoke the racism practiced by whites against so-called blacks through their slavers' constitution, but Roberts doesn't care about all that. His opinion attempts to capture the 14th Amendment and redeploy it to justify a white version of colorblindness that just so happens to lock in a status quo that benefits whites. All right. So I want to preface this once again. This is not happening more so on the jobs, y'all. This is happening in the universities, right? So on the college application, they can no longer use Black, African-American, person of color to say, oh, we'll let you in based off that alone, okay? And he's going to go into why they're truly doing that. Now, on this show, we don't Republican, Democrat. It's all the same to me, whether it's Republican judges or Democrat, liberal. I don't vote like that. So, but they do have opinions of how things are viewed from their lenses. We were just talking about that. How do we see the same thing, but there's two different lenses, two different views and perspectives going on, right?
Right.
Okay. So I want to mention, before I go any further, I do want to mention, I did a little digging, and shouts to the African Diaspora Channel, Demetra K and Phil Scott. They reported that 4 Israelite women were let go from their major positions in major corporations the day after that vote came through.
Wow.
Right. Now, once again, we could say, oh, this may be good. And I do feel that lifting that affirmative action is a positive. Okay, in certain ways.
Right. Right. We talked about
We
that.
talked about that. It can be good, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But listen to this. LaTondra Newton, she was the Disney Chief Diversity Officer. Look what they're going after, y'all. Listen to this. She was let go on June 30th. She is an Israelite woman. I didn't have the pictures up in time. Number 2, she was the Warner Brothers Executive Vice President over talent acquisition, Karen Horn. Netflix, she was the first head of inclusion diversity. And then her name was Verna Myers. And then the 4th was at the Warner Brothers Film Academy, VP of Diversity Inclusion, Janelle English. You hear all 4 titles they held. They were over incoming talent, making it diverse. They were all at go. And you heard Warner Brothers, Netflix, Disney. Those are Film Academy. And they were Israelite women, so-called black women, held in these positions for years. On the day the day after that vote was done.
Right.
And like I said, the affirmative action is not going towards jobs, but I think college
educational. Yeah,
it's educational, but I think that's the foundation. It's going to start.
But see, the thing why they was let go so easily because of that, though, Ak, is because you no longer have to have someone on your team to bring in diversity. Because that's no longer going to be needed. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. It's 2 things happening right now. Okay,
come on out.
Affirmative action. What does it mean? The grand scheme of things is going to mean less Israelite doctors.
There you go.
It's going to mean less Israelite lawyers. Long story short, Israelite professionals. You just heard what the IM just read in the article that he just presented to us, right? This is what it's going to do, right? And so what's going to happen is, and now when you fill out these school applications, and this is something that you and I talked about as well. Well, let me back up because I said there's 2 things happening. You're going to have less Israelites in the professional field, but with the bringing in of AI,
come on,
with the bringing in the AI, white people are going to start losing jobs too.
Come on, man.
Okay. Right now, I just read an article. Look, I think it was Will Smith. I believe it was Will Smith who had a problem with it. Was either Samuel L. Jackson talking about the dangers of AI in Hollywood because he started to see how it's going to be replacing actors. A lot of these movies that we watching now that's just not coming out, they AI generated.
AI generated. Yep.
Not just the actors, but get this. AI even writing scripts.
Writing scripts. Writing the soundtracks. Movies. Scores. You can't, man, a movie with 20 songs, those are just not written. They score. You got to have the music notes and all of that.
See what I'm saying? So it's not just going to affect us. Everything that's happening right now is to bring everybody down to a level, to a level playing ground. So we can't get into our feelings with this affirmative action movement that the Supreme Court did and just think that it's about us at this particular time. Understand this, everything is about us.
Right.
Remember that. And I hope I didn't sound crazy how I said that. Don't make it think that it's just about us, but everything is about us. I'm going to say this real quick. I was talking to my wife just yesterday. I said, baby, this is the reason America want to keep racism alive. Us.
Yep.
They need everybody to hate us because outside of us, who else is there to hate? You see what I'm saying? Right. This is why they're not doing anything about it. This is why they're not trying to bring no laws in to kill it. Because why? They got, what do Revelation say? It says that the dragon was wrought with those seed.
Come on, man.
Of the woman.
Come on up. Come on.
We are that seed.
Do y'all know? Look up the definition of wrath. That's beyond anger.
Exactly.
Wrath is like,
if there was no seed of Jacob in America, there wouldn't be no racism.
Wouldn't be. Wouldn't be. They would have nobody to be racist against.
They wouldn't have nobody to be racist against. Okay, so understand that. And the second thing is that I gotta ask this question when it comes to affirmative action, and I gotta hear what your take on this is. How can you create laws to ensure inclusiveness for a group of people? Example, LGBTQ plus, while you taking away laws from a group of people that's going to promote education and earning to ensure a better life.
I'm glad you asked that.
I cannot separate myself from this.
Right.
See?
Right.
They choose this, and yet you making laws right now. Starbucks is under fire. Why? Because they're not hiring enough homosexuals. But yet you taking away laws. And then now understand this. It's not saying that we can't get into the Ivy Leagues.
Right.
What's going to happen is we're not going to receive the grants.
That's, boy, you've been reading my article.
Am I going too far fast? Go ahead.
Preface it. No, because see, we go ahead. Because that's what, when I'm a lamb back off that and read, and that's the Most High and the Ruach confirming.
Exactly.
That's what
we're not going to be receiving the grants that we would normally get, and they know that we're not going to be able to afford it. Now there is this block that's on all of these college applications, and I seen it when my daughter was going to school. I seen it for my own self. They would ask you, what are you? They ask you, are you black, non-black, Mexican American, white, blah, blah. Then they got this other one on there that says other. Don't be scared to check it.
Right. Other. Right.
Let them find out.
Let them find out. They're going to have to bring you in for an interview or FaceTime you.
Don't be scared to check it.
Don't be scared to check it.
Is there, and that's not you denying who you are. That's you being smart.
That's it.
That's what it is. Oh, and that name, she worked with my wife. It was two of them. One of them name was Lasagna. My wife said that she didn't pronounce it lasagna. She said that she came to HR. You know my wife in HR, right? My wife said she came to HR complaining because they call her lasagna. And my wife was like, well, looking at this, girl, it says lasagna. How are we supposed to know it's not lasagna? The other one was Cavassier.
Cavassier. Now I done heard Alizé, Allegra. I ain't never heard Cavassier.
Israelite, quit naming your children these ghetto names.
Lasagna and Cavassier.
Lasagna and Cavassier. Go ahead.
Man, that's wild, yo. That's wild. I knew you would remember sooner or later. I said he gonna remember them names.
I asked my wife.
Lasagna and Cavassier. Ooh, I didn't hear Hennessy and Allegra and anyway. That's
Alizé. I done heard Alizé. Yeah.
All of that ain't lasagna and Cavassier. That's the first.
That Cavassier was, that took me out of there. And I think lasagna. But yeah, go ahead. But yeah, that's my question though. How can you take law? How can you create laws for a group of people to make sure that they could get in school, get jobs, be included, but yet you taking laws away from a group of people that cannot separate themselves from who and what they are?
Right. And I think what they saw over the past from 2008 to 2016, since that's when the LGBTQ plus by Obama was really pushed in. I think what they started seeing, they thought that the affirmative action was going to be for the colleges and the jobs to hire the homosexuals and the lesbians and the queer and the non-straight, but it still wasn't. We were the ones still getting in college. Like you said, they could wake up tomorrow morning and be like, oh, I don't want to be that no more. We can't wake up and say, oh, I want to be white. Okay.
Right. Even if we identify, they ain't gonna let it ride. They'll let a whole man identify as a woman and swim against women. Right. But if I identify as a 49-year-old white man named I don't know, you Clint. Yeah, They ain't gonna go with that. No, sir.
They ain't gonna go with that. They ain't gonna go. And like I was talking the other day, you know, my government name is Tarian Ramon Butler, right? So doctor's offices, whatever, they always got Tarian and Ramon messed up. They call me Tawarian Raymond, all that. So I just started going by at a young age, TR. But if I wasn't in the football field or if I wasn't on the basketball court, they couldn't see me in or out of uniform. So they didn't know who I was. Doctor's office, TR Butler, they don't know if they about to get an old white man, a young white girl, until I walk back there.
Right.
And then they look at TR, then look at Tarian and be like, oh, okay.
Right.
Same as a job application. They know Tarian. You don't know no. I ain't never seen no white dude named Tarian.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So to land back off what you were saying though, this article was talking about. It says, but the death of affirmative action was not achieved merely through the machinations of Republican lawyers. Because I thought that's where this article was going. I'm like, okay, he about to blame our Republicans. Nope. And I would have, but he says, while conservatives on the Supreme Court delivered the fatal blow, the policy has long been made vulnerable by the soft bigotry of parents whose commitment to integration and equality turns cold the moment their little angels fail to get into their first choice of college or Ivy League university. You just said that. You just said that. If you want to see a white liberal drop the pretense that they care about systemic racism and justice, just tell them that their privately tutored kid didn't get into the whatever elite school that they were hoping for. That's so true. Like you said, it's really not even about, we can't separate our skin color, but we're going to be the ones attacked because they see us dunking the basketball.
That's right.
They see us catching the football.
That's right.
And don't realize we did have a 4.0.
That's right.
We were in the Deca Club.
That's right.
Theater Club.
Kyrie Irving out of school product.
Duke, come on to get into Duke.
That's right.
Look at that. Oh, my kid got rejected.
That's right.
You know how much my grandfather donated to this school? But when they have how their grandparents are alumni or how they're alumni, that's even worse than affirmative action. If you're saying we're only getting in because we're of color, and that's the only
y'all paying y'all way in.
Thank you. But see, that's the secret.
Right.
That they can keep.
That's the private. That's the private sector. That's the private sector.
That's the goal. And this is what Clarence Thomas, this article he's going on to say, this is why Clarence Thomas was in his feelings. Because it says, some of the most horrible racist claptrap folks have felt comfortable saying to my face has been said in the context of people telling me why they don't like affirmative action or why my credentials are somehow unearned because they were given to me by affirmative action. This is how majority of liberals and conservatives or majority whites feel. They feel that affirmative action is where we get to.
We don't earn it.
We don't earn it. There you go. Now,
it's not earned.
It's not earned. To close this out, he says, the last bit is in some ways the most devastating. He said, Black people are attacked and shamed simply because the policy exists. And we agree about that.
Right.
Just because it's there, we get shamed for it.
Right.
He said, regardless of whether it benefit them or not. He said, I've had white folks whom I could standardize, test into a coma, tell me that I got into school only because
I'm Black.
He said, I once talked to a white guy whose parents' name, like I just said, was on one of the buildings on campus, who asked me how it felt to know I got extra help to get in.
Right.
Your parents' name, your grandparents' name is on the building. What you mean?
I was just going to say that somebody in your family probably got bricks out there, you know what I'm saying, in the courtyard with their name on it, you know? And then you just had these movie stars, I can't think of their names right now, but you'll probably remember, you better with names than I am. They just got into trouble because they were
the girl paying to get house. The girl from Full House, I forget her name. Her and her husband.
Yeah, her and her husband. That was just one of the many, though.
One of the many. They got caught.
They falsified that they kids even play soccer. Kid ain't kicked a soccer ball a day in a life.
Right. Right. And you know
to
why
get them into these schools.
Right.
And then when these stories come up, they come and they go. It's like they come just enough to say, hey, we told you about it, but they never stated. Just like with Brett Favre and him stealing all that money from welfare. You know, you ain't heard nothing else about that.
Thank you. Nothing else.
So affirmative action is nothing more than the same thing that you guys are doing. Y'all just actually have the money to be able to do it.
That's it. And that's my whole point about the whole affirmative action thing. Is they taking it away because it gives us the stigma of we didn't earn it.
Right.
You know, people, I mean, you know, I have all praises that I have a degree, and I don't. When I say I got a degree, I'm not boasting or bragging on it. It's just still a piece of paper that's got they stayed the curriculum course of what they said is standard. That's all it really is. But people will look at me. Oh, you didn't get in because da 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 da, or you just got it because it's the same way. So in that sense, I'm glad. Not glad, I would say. I think
exactly. I understand what you're saying, but it's going to hurt so many, so many of us in the inner cities because you know, and my wife and I was talking about it. When you graduate top 10% of your class, you automatically get scholarships.
Right.
And so, you know, I could talk for the city that I know, which is Dallas. Top 10% is not the same in Oak Cliff as it is in Highland Park.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not the same, which meant that a lot of those kids, even in Oak Cliff, when affirmative action was alive and well, that top 10 gave them a ticket to where they could go wherever they wanted to go, pretty much.
Right. And this next part, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you run with it because I know you gotta. It says affirmative action is used by a certain kind of unwashed white mediocrity as an excuse to denigrate the credentials of anybody black. Then those same people use their own racial hangups as an argument to get rid of affirmative action, blaming the policy for their own racist inability to regard black colleagues as equals. That's what it's about. Is that there are white people who will argue with a straight face that affirmative action makes them harbor the racist idea that black people are undeserving of their accomplishments. That ain't got nothing to do with what's already in your heart. Affirmative action. And he says, and some black people fall for it. It will escape no one's notice that Clarence Thomas, who happens to be black, joined the majority opinion banning affirmative action. Thomas wrote a concurring opinion to make an originalist defense of a colorblind constitution, an argument that is oxymoronic on its face, given that the Constitution was most definitely not colorblind toward people who look like Thomas. People have often expressed surprise that Thomas is so stridently against the policy, but I am here to tell you that all of Thomas's treacherous attempts to set black folks back to second-class status, this one is easiest to trace. Thomas considered himself a victim of affirmative action. Now listen why. In his autobiography, My Grandfather's Son, Thomas says his degree from Yale Law School that he graduated in 1974 was never taken seriously because of affirmative action.
That nigga alive.
Right.
Nigga, you sitting on the Supreme Court justice.
How did they not take it seriously? So what they say, oh, well, you graduated from Yale because of affirmative action. Nigga, you is on the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
How many judges, how many black attorneys that just passed the bar, like you said, you made that point, Oak Cliff and the other region you know, that top 10% is going to be different.
Right.
That's going to be different.
It's going to be different. Now. I'm going to tell you what it is with Clarence. Oh, Clarence.
Oh, Clarence, boy.
I wish I had a picture of old Clarence so we could see old Clarence.
I think I can get one.
Let me tell you, Clarence got to Yale, and when he got there, if he ever known, he quickly forgot who he was.
That's it.
He quickly forgot who he was because he knew where he wanted to go, and he knew that who he was. I bet you Clarence for real, and I'm not saying this as a joke. You remember is that I'm going to get you, sucker? Where he was talking about how he hate everything black. I hate Wesley Snipes black. I bet you every morning when Clarence Thomas brushed his teeth and he looked at himself in the mirror, he hated his black skin. I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm being so for real, man. This dude, that's Uncle Ruckus. That is for real. That is Uncle Ruckus in the flesh and blood right there, man. That's who he is. And so he's going to do, how did he get to where he's at right now? Woo, people, I can promise you, you don't want to know.
Oh, man.
I promise you, you don't want to know. And if you don't think that he hates his people, look at his wife. There is no way you can marry something that look like that.
It ain't. Oh.
Look at his wife.
Ooh, sorry.
This dude said, I'm gonna go white and I'm going to go white. If he was blind, he'll be just like Dave Chappelle.
Yes. Yeah. You know how Ray Charles used to
feel the wrist
hand and feel their wrist?
Yeah.
Ray Charles would be like, oh nah.
Yeah,
nah,
oh no.
Nah, you going over there and sit down. You can go and sit down.
Exactly. Exactly. But this is the problem with people like Clarence, though. Is that they get so high by stepping on the backs of their own people, not realizing that when Amalek get tired of them, they not gonna ease them down. They not gonna set them down. They gonna push them over. And you got a long way to fall, homeboy.
Yep. And that's why this article struck me, is because the guy was writing it from the perspective of it affecting younger of us and somebody that done rose to stardom, like Clarence Thomas was the first one to raise his hand and vote to take it away, knowing that is attorneys, lawyers, judges, doctors, that's going to be, their dreams are going to be shattered. They're not going to get into that university.
And he can care less.
He can care less. That's what, when
he
I read
can
this
care
article,
less.
I was like, boy, oh my goodness, man. It struck me. And you bring up a good point, because the Constitution, they put it on the 14th Amendment about being the racism against us. The Constitution didn't wake up yesterday and decide, oh, affirmative action is wrong. I think they've been planning this.
It was put in place. It was put in place to get for a fair shake.
Yep. For a fair shake.
And I'm with you on, because don't nobody want to hear. You only hear. You only hear because of a friend. Don't nobody want to hear that.
Right.
Don't nobody want to hear you only got this job because of a friend. Don't nobody. But the fact is, you there.
You there. That's right.
Don't be soft. Don't have a soft back and let that knock you off your course. You're there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But for whatever reason, you are there. The majority, we just laid it out to y'all. The majority of them white kids are there because their parents paid for them to be there.
Yeah.
And then they go join them secret societies while they are there. See, there are different type of sorority and fraternities at Yale and at Princeton and different types. It ain't the normal.
No, they're on a different level.
They on a whole different level. So now you ain't got to worry about, because of your last name and because of the school that you are attending and because of the program that you have joined, you ain't got to worry about nothing else in life. And all of that came with what? Your parents' money. So who cares if you only there because of affirmative action?
Right.
You there.
You there. You there. Yeah. And see, this is my thing. A lot of us, a lot of those guys, when they get into, University of Texas, University of North Carolina, TCU, a lot of us, we have great grades. We have 4.0.
Right.
They want you to just think they got there off a scholarship because they can run the football or dunk the basketball. But 80 to 90%. It'd be a handful of us that did just
Herschel
get
Walker
in.
was one of them.
Herschel
Was one. And now look at what they doing to him right now.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, bro. Herschel Walker was one.
That Negro couldn't even talk when he was in Georgia.
But they was hooping and hollering, doing backflips when he was running that football.
You see what I'm saying?
All that affirmative action stuff, that stuff went away.
It went away.
Keep your eyes on this, folks. This is gonna get, and it's just starting. And like I said, the day after, you have 4 prominent executive women, and that's diverse. Even if they weren't one of us, they were still women that was in those high positions.
I wonder what kind of, and that, it don't matter, but I wonder if they even let them. They had to leave with a severance.
They had to.
They had to leave with a severance.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some digging to see if I can find that and find their salaries. Because I'm sure, I mean, the executive talent acquisition, bring that, you're the hiring manager over in HR, that's $1 million salary. That's 6
Yeah, man. But remember also, you know, what we said at the very beginning of this before we go to the song break, that what you're seeing is the collapse of all the economy. Going back to the first story again.
Yep.
They riot, and we didn't get to talk about that. They burning France up.
Yeah,
now,
I talked about it a little bit.
Oh, did you? Okay, then cool. Yeah, they burning France up. What you're seeing is a complete mirror of what is going to be happening over here.
Right.
This is how governments are changed.
Right.
You first get civil unrest.
Right.
After civil unrest, then you get the state of emergencies. Then you get the troops on the ground. And then while you locked up in the house, that's when they change the government. Yep. So what you're seeing, it's happening intentionally, the same way it's happening intentionally here. All of this got to do with the finances. All of this got to do with the Great Reset. They didn't just wait, like the brother said, they didn't just wake up and say, hey, we're going to get rid of affirmative action. No.
Been in motion.
It's been in motion.
Been in motion.
And while that's in motion, it's also in motion to bring down white people too. The brother found it in the Jazz chapter 57, verse 25. Brother found it. I be telling y'all, man, white people different, man. They ain't even got no loyalty with their own people.
Yeah. And I remember I was looking for it. And how did I not see it in one of the greatest accounts of Joshua 56 when Jacob had died,
right?
All had died, and his sons were about to bury him. And Esau showed up and in his feelings didn't want Judah and Zebulun, didn't want the sons to bury their daddy, his brother, which supposedly he had forgiven, didn't want to bury them on a plot of land that he sold to him.
And that's the thing too. I not to cut you off, but Jacob and Esau made up. They and good.
And showed
it's
up.
It's the daggone kids.
Showed up at the funeral. Say, no, y'all can't bury my brother, y'all daddy here. They looked at each other like, wait, what? You really gonna do this right now, You really gonna do this? So they start wearing them out. The brothers start beating Esau and his boys.
Right.
He got mad because they was losing, jumped off the cliff and started fighting the children of Seir, Mount Seir, because he could. Boy, the title, The End is Being Manifested, is so on point because this happened right before our eyes, y'all. I just wanted to talk about that. That Joshua 57. Y'all go read that. Go read it, man. Go read it. Uh-oh. Did we lose him again? What happened? You on?
I don't know. I don't know.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Well, with that being said, we're going to try to let Ock back. I think we are going to go into the second music break. Let's get it.
Failure has made me who I am today. Failure gives you two choices. You stay down or you get up. Well, I'm up and I am fired up because I have figured it out. I have figured out that I need to stand in this ring and just plain old do something that I should have done a long time ago.
Storm.
Committed us to be different, committed to be holy. Morally set apart, ceremonially set apart. Must depart from paganism and this world's wisdom. Come out of my people, these satanic, deceptive religions. They say you wanna hide some for us, put it in the book. Our identity, culture, and history is in the book. But we won't take a look, say it's written by the white man. But search on Google and social media and Wikipedia. Eat everything they feed ya, that same white man. Be walking idiots while they executing their plans. Convince us with one people that can prosper under God. But we serving these nations for disobeying our God. Remove the chains and yoke, now we think we free. Believe now with your ears, but what your eyes see. Don't look like freedom to me, reminds me of Moses. Prophesying that we be the people suffering these curses. Are you holy as he is holy? We must be holy as he is holy. Can't be like the heathen, they are pagans. Their God is Satan, ours created the
When
heavens.
you look in the mirror, tell me what you see. Do you see a man that's different from what he used to be? Same body, renewed mind, different day, new grind. A spiritual body in the kingdom, is that all be on your mind? Are you concerned with time? It's about time that you wake out your sleep. Like the kids say, you move your feet, then you lose your seat. It's not a game, he'll really blot out your name for being complacent. This walk is more than calling on the Father's name. I wanna hear you say his name. A higher, the everlasting God. A higher, the everlasting God, the God of all gods. He be the one that woke you up and the reason the sun rise. And the sun gon' shine, coming in his glory on his fiery horses. Raining from the east, his present world is gon' be his story. It's no coincidence, he's waking up his people. It's written that bone will go on his bone and connecting with the sea news, Iran.
Are you holy as he is holy? We must be holy as he is holy. Can't be like the heathen, they are pagans. Their God is Satan, ours created the heavens. Are you holy as he is holy? We must be holy as he is holy. Can't be like the heathen, they are pagans. Their God is Satan, ours created the heavens.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Elder Mahad, different, featuring Aaron.
Yeah, man. I got a phone call. I don't know if that's a side effect.
Probably knocked you off.
Yeah, it knocked me off and I was gone. I couldn't get back. I had to. Yeah. Yeah. So what we got? We got the TikTok talk, right?
Let's see. Do we got the TikTok talk? We do. Let's go.
Well, obviously, I wanted to get to Mars and to the moon, but I found out that it is impossible because of the firmament that is now obviously surrounding us, and it won't let us penetrate. If you haven't noticed, we've been sending up lots of rockets to try to go and break it, but it's impossible, and we're not going to do it any longer, so, well, what's the next option?
Has done it again. Watch carefully what has happened to SpaceX rocket once it has reached the top of the firmament. How many times does that need to happen for the people to realize the truth behind this?
The super heavy booster.
Yeah, Kate, right now it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now.
Everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
Absolutely pumped to clear the pad and make end the Starship vehicle.
As we promised, an
Elon Musk a perdu 13 milliards de dollars en une journée, je t'explique. Hier, le patron de Tesla, SpaceX et Twitter a connu sa pire journée en bourse. En fait, sa fortune a diminué de près de 13 milliards de dollars, c'est sa plus forte baisse de l'année selon BFM TV. Mais alors comment expliquer cette baisse soudaine? Première raison, l'explosion en plein vol de la fusée Starship de SpaceX. Alors certes, l'entreprise considère le décollage d'hier comme une réussite, mais ça a fortement participé à secouer le marché et dégrader son image.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
Wow. Wow.
The name of the show is The End is Manifesting Itself. And I got that from 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 5. It says, like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, in wonders, in powerful works, and endings, in effects, and signs. The comments of Elon Musk should have shut NASA down the very next day. I swear they be trolling us as people. And I'm not talking about us right now as Israelites. I'm talking about as people, period. There is no such thing as space. None whatsoever. I tell people all the time, my truth is the Bible. Let's go to Genesis. Fourth day, he created the lights in the skies. He created the sun. He created the moon. He created the stars in the firmament, in the heavens. He didn't say nothing about space out there. He called the dry land earth, and the waters he called seas. There you go. So now we got a whole compilation of what everything is. And so they've been running this mock on us about space. The stars are on this side of the firmament. It's a firmament. Why is there a firmament? To keep us here. Elon Musk just told you. How many people really listen to what he just said? Of course, we would like to go to Mars, but I found out it's impossible.
It's impossible. Can't go.
Now, next week, you're going to see something on the news with them telling you
that they got a Land Rover on Mars and they got a space Voyager out there taking pictures at Saturn and boy. These jokers, boy.
What you do? What you do?
I think they just lie, just to lie.
They be trolling us, man.
Right. Just to
They be trolling us for real. Look, they like for real be calling out our insanity, man. Look, we gonna tell them the truth on this hand, but then we gonna keep giving them the lies on this. Don't you know science was one of my favorite subjects in school?
Goodness, bro.
Man, when they told me that sun was 993 billion, zillion, gazillion miles away, I was like, man, how in the world am I seeing it? And then they told me that the light you seeing from the sun is really not new light. That's light that shined like millions of years ago, and it's just got. And I'm like, man, how awesome is it? Then I got to this truth. I said, man, them liars.
And then, like you said, on one hand they'll tell you that, but then on the next hand they'll tell you about the solar system. If it's a system, that means, like you said, it's not beyond.
Right.
You can go. It's here.
It's here.
So
it's
like,
here. And I knew what they was doing when he shot that thing off a few months ago. I said, man, you know how much money they spent to make that thing? And he was so excited when it blew up. I said, they hit the firmament. And they just clapping. I said, that joker hit the firmament because for years, you know what they've been trying to do? Crack it.
They've been trying to penetrate it.
But they didn't read in Genesis when it said he separated the waters from the heaven from the waters in the earth. You crack that thing if you want to.
Bro, you don't want to do that. You're going to... Stephen Hawking has been telling them, bro. I'm like, y'all don't want to do that.
Don't want to do that.
Something going to come through. I told you what my papa used to say. Let them get on out there. Something going to grab them and beat the brakes off of.
That's how I know Bigfoot don't exist. I tell my family that all the time. Big ain't no such thing. Why you say that? Because the white man, if Bigfoot existed, some white man done found him.
He would have been found.
He's been found.
We wouldn't still be looking for him.
We wouldn't be looking for him no more.
He'd be in a museum full of paper looking at y'all. It's stuck.
Some white boy in South Carolina, Georgia, or somewhere in between, they done found him.
I found him. He was a heck of a pool, but I got him. Look at here. I seen him. He got him for real. They all
anybody that'll go to the sea and find a lake and then want to go in the lake in the sea.
Yes, right. That's still in my mind to this day. They found a lake in the bottom of the ocean.
They found a lake in the bottom of the ocean, and then I decided that I wanted to go in, and boom, I couldn't. You couldn't go into the lake in the sea, but you want me to believe that you being out of space.
Y'all have been to the moon.
Come on, man.
Come
on, man.
These folks, man.
Come on, man. That's the TikTok talk.
He said it right there. He was like, well, we ain't never been because we can't go.
Can't go.
Just all nonchalant.
Just nonchalant. Why you can't go, Elon? Because, and he called it by the name.
By the name, because it's firmament.
It's the firmament.
Somebody been reading our book. Oh, that's a great TikTok.
That even killed a dome Earth. I mean, a round Earth, a ball Earth. When he said that just put that to sleep.
Yeah, man.
Now NASA should have been bankrupt the next day.
That next day, they probably making more money now because it's like you said, the more you tell, the more real it look. That's why it look fake. Like it's a quandary. Like, how do you do that? It's like the more we tell the truth, the more fake they think it is.
Say, man. These people crazy, man. Let's go ahead and get that next song break. I can keep it moving.
Black saw the real Jews. Ever since day one, this life was sealed. So much pour from the aura, no need to conceal. See the suffering we face and work out patience. Man's will be done, developing a nation. Peace to the activists, share precious blood. You was taught, you was pissed. Spirits live on, reforming all these gangsters and giving hoes hope. That's a rebel with a cause. God's word got ball. Deep from a dark city, a light was born. Despite the witchcraft oath that was spoke, that was sworn to desecrate a bloodline the devil had in mind. A web of spiders to bind about him, freedom fighter. The wolves came to, suited up in sheep clothes, pressing for a crease, they iron the sheepfold. Spraying a lot of starch, the whole world filled with glitter. But it ain't gold, a blindfold stole the picture of a priesthood, elegant with taste. Measurements to take, can measure stature so great. It's gonna take faith and some work to match to catch up with past glory and catch it back. But one day at a time, chronological, a rebel with an honest view. Up against the war machine, the revolution won't be televised. Best believe, cause the network's got a net worth to deceive. Ever since day one, this life was sealed. So much pour from the aura, no need to conceal. See the suffering we face and work out patience. Man's will be done, developing a nation. Peace to the activists, share precious blood. You was taught, you was pissed. Spirits live on, reforming all these gangsters and giving hoes hope. That's a rebel with a cause. God's word got ball. Passing the torch, beware what the news report. The whole agenda be to handle and confuse your thoughts. Bless Dr. Crest, well seen, who pointed out the rest. Sling them on the powers that be, the right and the left. Malcolm X did exist, that's a true and living threat. No matter how much they try, your spirit ain't dead yet. Marcus Garnett turned Toussaint and Harriet. All had to hatch and pick, then refused to bury it. Hacking away the gray and corrupt politics. The devil placed the bell bomb, so the truth gotta hit the ground and fell on. Landed flat, top soil you rich. Roots so far removed, back to province who was sent. Lost tribes waking up, coming up out of dish. Reconnecting with the truth, bringing back the clenched flesh. Prophecy, prophesied, written with a diamond pen. In Egypt the waters parted, life started out when? Ever since day one, this life was sealed. So much pour from the aura, no need to conceal. See the suffering we face and work out patience. Man's will be done, developing a nation. Peace to the activists, share precious blood. You was taught, you was pissed. Spirits
spirits live on. Reforming all these gangsters and giving hoes hope. That's a rebel with a cause. Word got balls. Reflection from the water surface, the fountain in you, the mountain in view is pushed out. Everything new from the walk to the talk. Let conviction dwell deep. Inhale the true smoke. Let a true prophet speak. Man, these politicians stripping, started stepping. Shape shifting. Promising a whole lot. Circumstances and conditions. Call it federal pimping. Should be a medal they winning. All the games played really ain't no different from Olympics. Sad to say, at this point, reparations won't suffice for our people demoralized. Believing Christ is right. Shorty in the strip club still busting it out. The only advice she likes is make it rain like rice. Bit dog in the trap with a flag, push a pill. Living by the motto and belief. It is what it is. Where do we go from here? It's kinda hard to say, but it's all a good start for a rebel with a cause. Ever since day one, this life was sealed. So much pour from the aura, no need to conceal. See the suffering we face and work out patience. Man's will be done, developing a nation. Peace to the activists, share precious blood. You was hot, you was pissed. Spirits live on, reforming all these gangsters and giving hoes hope. That's a rebel with a cause. Word got balls.
Yeah.
What is that? Biz Marquee music?
I'm telling you, man. That's my.
That's
my
the
man.
Vapors.
I'm telling you, that's Shazak. Israel, man. That's my guy, man. It's got that Biz Marquee, Slick Rick.
Right.
80s, early 90s. That's true hip hop, man.
Right.
He educated in there. The delivery, the education about it. Dr. Francis Welsing, he mentioned her, and man, I love it, man.
Good stuff, man.
Great stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Rebel with the Cause, Counselor Yash, Shazak Israel, man. That's good stuff, man. That was Biz Markie.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yes, what you got?
Last story, Aya.
Woo.
Fed now. We have been talking about central bank digital currency on here. We have been talking about how they are trying to take control of the finances. It's something that we haven't mentioned in a while. Remember, Biden was trying to have reported, what was it, $500 in your cash app? If you got, was it $500 or was it less? And if you got received up to like $500, he wanted it to be reported. Like,
right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was speaking then, what the heart of what this understand that all of these nations have gods. I believe that's Psalms 91. I believe it's Psalms 91. I could be wrong, but I think it's Psalms 91 that all of these nations have gods, right? And so there is a spirit that comes with all of these nations. And right now the spirit is with all of them collectively is total control. That's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at total control of all of the people by any means necessary. So Fed now, as of June 1st, it became a real thing. Now, this is the thing with stuff like this here. Right now it's optional.
Right.
But it's only optional until it's not.
It's not. Woo.
And the only reason that they come out with it being optional is because they want to see what type of pushback that they're going to get from the people.
Right.
That's what they look at.
Right.
So if we don't get any pushback from the people, this time next year, 2024, guess what Fed now is? It's not going to be optional. Which means that app that you got on your phone for cash now, might as well delete it. Zelle, might as well delete it. PayPal, might as well delete it. Because the only way you're going to be able to transfer money 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, according to their calendar, is going to be by Fed now. Now, I want to put this out here. We talk about this as well. Fed now means federal now. That's what it means. Federal Reserve is not the government. And I know a lot of times we get confused with that and we say that the government is going to see our money. Yes, the government is going to see our money, but the government is controlled by the Federal Reserve. The government themselves borrow money from who? Federal Reserve. So whoever you borrow money from, that's who owns you. That's who you are a slave to, right? Do that make sense, Doc?
Absolutely, makes sense.
That makes sense, right? So Federal Reserve, the name sounds confusing. They federal, so they got to be the government. No.
Right, nope.
No.
Right.
It's private bankers.
Private banks.
That is in control of this thing. Now, this is from an article, Fed Now Instant Payments, or is it Instant Fraud? This was published April 27, 2023. This is how it essentially works, and I want you again, listen to the language. Says if a home buyer uses Fed Now payment service in their closing process, the home buyer will receive a request for the down payment from their title company. The home buyer then sends the funds through Fed Now, and the bank reviews the payment and sends an ISO 222 compliant payment message to the Fed Now payment services, which immediately, this is a big word here, validates the payment. That's a big word there.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And passes it along to the title firm's bank, which tells Fed Now it intends to accept the payments. And Fed Now debits and credits the respective banks. In other words, Fed Now is the gatekeeper of all transfers are reviewed and approved by the Federal Reserve, i.e., don't get this confused though, the government.
Right.
Everything got to be, in other words, look, you can't buy nothing.
Right.
Unless Fed Now
knows about it.
That big old word there that's in there.
Validate.
Validate.
Right. Validates. That's the key word. Validate.
Validate.
It's just a fancy word for being nosy. They're gonna
That's
know
all
what you're
it
doing.
is.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
No longer do we trust Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover to say, oh, Ayob is cash apping Sheer $25. No longer is Visa or your car carrier the middleman. Now it's Fed Now. They're saying Visa, we got it. It's a bypass. They're bypassing your card holder.
That's right.
No longer PayPal is saying, okay, Visa, we see you. Ayob, yep, this $25 is good. As soon as you accept it. Now it's going to Fed Now.
Now we got to go to Fed Now. Yeah. You know what's going to come with that? That's your gun control.
Right.
Exactly. They ain't got to pass no laws now.
They ain't got to, right.
They ain't got to pass no laws. Right. They ain't got to ban no guns. That's your gun control now.
Ooh. Think about that. Man.
Because now we got to go through Fed Now. Fed Now be like, nah.
Nah. We ain't validating that 1,000.
We're not validating that.
Nope, you're not getting that AR today. So we're gonna. So the $1,500 you have, you can keep it.
You keep it.
You keep it.
But don't say nothing about us. You better not get pissed off and go and go talk about us on social, because that $1,500 we can turn it off too.
Turn it off. Yep. And you'll be begging just to buy some food with it, let alone an AR-15 or a Blickadoo. You'll be like, man, I can't even.
Can you see the people out getting evicted knowing that they got money, but Fed Now is not validating their money?
This thing is, bro. I don't think, boy, listen. Man, no what? Oh, man, boy. And like you said, it's optional till it's not. They ain't going to tell you that, oh, in 3 months it's not. They're going to sneak it up on you. You're going to be like,
sneak it up on you.
My payment won't go through. I can't pay my car payment like I normally do. What's going on?
I'm finna put the people on a secret. At some point, they're going to stop putting Federal Reserve notes in circulation. We already seeing that, right? You go to certain places now, they tell you that they don't accept cash. But I'm finna put you on to a secret, people. You could get on your computer and you could go directly to the Federal Reserve when you get paid. And guess what you can buy? Federal Reserve notes. This is a cheat code to getting around the central bank digital currencies. Now, buying the Federal Reserve notes, you can't spend 20 to get 20. You're going to pay a little bit more. But if you don't want to operate, that's one of the ways that you can operate. Listen to what I'm saying. The way we get paid is going to change, but you're still going to get paid. Whoever your financial bank is, who you deal with, it's real easy to find out when they get their reserves. It's real easy. And you can set it up just like you can set up automatic payments. You can set it up when you get paid, you got a certain amount of Federal Reserves coming to your home. Even if they don't put it in circulation automatically, and guess what? They have to honor those Federal Reserves. Why? Because it's printed on there. This is legal tender for both public and private debt.
Man.
Listen to what I'm telling you. We don't have to lie down and roll over to what the beast is doing to us. The private sector, and I was sharing this with Ayob, the private sector spends different types of currency than what we in the public do. But this is the thing. The currencies that they use is available to the public. You just got to know what it is and how to get it. There's a restaurant here in Texas that's called Torchy's Tacos. I like Torchy's. I'm the only one in the house that like Torchy's. Don't nobody else like Torchy's. I'm the only one in the house like Torchy's. And I go to Torchy's any time of the day, any week, any day of the week, right? But Torchy's has this thing that's called a secret menu. The secret menu is available to everybody, Ayo. But you got to know there's a such thing as a secret menu. That's how the private operate.
Yep.
It's available to everybody, but you got to know that it's available. You got to know what it is.
Right. If you don't know it's available, you ain't gonna want to use. You ain't gonna use it.
You ain't gonna use it. So people coming to the Torches, they be looking, man, I didn't see what he eating on the menu. That's because it's not on the public menu. Right. It's on what is called the secret menu. And all you got to do is ask for it.
Wow.
Just ask for it. Knowledge is in the books, people. Y'all hear me say this all the time. We have to read. There's more to life than TV and entertainment and music. Man. Because while we sleep, these people, they be spreading sorcery over us all the time. Now, remember I told you that Federal Reserve is not the government, it's private bankers. Listen to what Meyer M. Shell Rothschild said. Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the law.
Right.
Carol Quigley says, for the first time in its history, Western civilization is in danger of being destroyed internally by a corrupt, criminal, ruling cabal, which is centered around the Rockefeller interests, which includes elements from the Morgan, Brown, Rothschild, DuPont, Harriman, Loeb, and other groupings as well. This junta took control of the political, financial, and cultural life of America in the first 2 decades of the 20th century.
Wow.
Hey,
That's
and you think that your government is running this show?
we talked about that a few episodes back. Who is the people that the camera is not on?
There you go.
We see Ted Cruz.
I sent you that email. Did you see? Did you see the real president? The real? I sent you that email. Did you see his name? That's who runs the corporation. That's the president's boss.
Boy.
I ain't gonna pull that up. I ain't gonna pull that up. But I'm telling y'all, it's a way for you to find out who the real president is, who the real Secretary of State is. It's ways for you to find out.
Yep.
And it ain't who you think it is.
And you never see him on camera.
And you never see him on camera.
Never see him on camera.
Never heard of their name.
Never even heard the name.
Never heard of their name. So now they done rolled out the Fed now. Your financial institution, they fist to start shutting down Cash App. Did you see the article that I shared with you where that now all of a sudden Cash App is having problems and they scaring people away from it? Yeah.
I seen on YouTube the other day, a few of my subscribers, they were sharing that every time they made a Cash App payment, for some reason, Cash App automatically doubled it. $27 to their sister for Uber, and then Cash App sent back a message, said we debited another $27. Sent $40 for it to his mom's or aunt for something at the store, some kind of groceries. Cash App doubled it for some reason.
Wow.
He said he deactivated it and pulled it back up. He said it kept doing the same thing until he finally let it go.
See?
Yeah, man. I was like, what?
See?
So,
and you wonder why I can't run the podcast off my laptop?
Right.
Same people who mess with Cash App mess with my laptop.
Right.
Why they doing that? Because they want you to what? Delete it. Well, if you delete it, that means you done with it. If you done with it, then what you gonna do? Oh, that's right. I can go through my bank because they have Fed now.
Fed now validated. Fed now like, yeah, we're validated.
What they gonna do?
Validate.
That's the new word. Validate.
Come and validate this parking. Just like they validate parking, they stamp your little ticket, you good. You drive off. I ain't even had to pay. They're gonna validate them pay.
They're gonna validate.
They're gonna be watching everything you doing. You're gonna be thinking you scot-free.
See?
Oh,
they just told you, man, the price of freedom ain't free.
Price of freedom ain't free. Man, everything is manifesting the end, boy. This thing is this signs and wonders.
It's all unraveling, folks. Hey, we want to thank y'all for being with us.
Man,
the Most High is good. I'm happy. Like for real, I'm happy. It was a great show. Awesome. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We gonna get another good one in next Thursday.
Yeah.
Since I'm seeing that it was not just YouTube.
Right.
We're gonna be back at home next week.
We're gonna be back at home. Right.
We're gonna be back at home next week.
We were doing some, testing to test.
Right. So I did not call the provider last week because I wanted to see before I called them. So I didn't call them. So I was just telling my wife on the song break, I'm gonna give them a call. I can't call them tomorrow because I'm gonna have to be at home because they gotta troubleshoot it. They gotta troubleshoot it. So I gotta be here while they troubleshoot it. So hopefully they'll be available this weekend, and I'm gonna give them a call and we're gonna see what's going on. I went up to the store. I don't know if I told you. I did go to a store and they was looking at what it is that I got. They said there is no way. My daughter was with me. They was like, there is no way you shouldn't be able to run your podcast. They said you can have everything going in the house and kids can be playing games. Yeah, they said there's no way that you should have a problem with running your podcast. Well, I said I could be at the house by myself with all the TVs off, and I can't run my podcast, and it's frustrating. She said, I'm sure it is. And so she gave me a direct number. At least she said she did anyway. I ain't called.
You about to find it?
I'm about to find out. She said she did. She might gave me a number, somebody in Pakistan.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
No, my name is Byron. Your name is what? Right. My name is Byron.
Hello, how you doing over there? Yo, like to welcome you to my name is John Smith. Man, your name ain't no John Smith. You name it, not no John Smith, boy. I jump across this thing.
You're right. Come through this phone on you, Joker.
How may I help you? Can I speak to somebody that speak English? Okay, hold on 1 second. How may I help you?
And you be hearing the button, pressing, and all of the noise in the background.
Then it start playing that music, the elevator.
Yeah. So
that game show music, you be like,
right.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she say she gave me a direct number.
We about to see.
We about to see, man. So all praises, but we gonna get this thing situated. We gonna get it right. And until then, I just keep podcasting from my phone because I'm not gonna allow anything to and something as minimal as this to to get me to where I'm so frustrated to where I can't think straight. So we're gonna premiere this here as well on YouTube tomorrow. Yeah, so look for this episode tomorrow. With that being said, we up out of here. I don't think I put a closeout song in there, did I?
Yes, I think you did. Oh, you know what? Nope. No song, no outro song, but it's all good.
Okay, it's all good. Shalom, family. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.